In this video, I'm going to show you the 5 most powerful ways to create polarity in order to attract love. Think of it like a magnet. If you have a magnet, it is going to attract but also repel based on its polarity. If you have a positive and you put them together, guess what's going to happen? They're going to repel each other. Same with a negative and a negative. But when you have a positive and a negative, they clink right like this. The key to attracting love is embodying your own sense of polarity, which really is the authenticity of who you really are, letting go of what you are not so that you can attract love easier than ever. These are things that completely transformed my own life. I've seen it change so many people's lives once they got a grip of this, and I'm going to show you step by step what to do in this video. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you those 5 polarity secrets. These are things that completely change your own energy dynamic and help you to attract more of that which you want. Now think of it like this. I get people that sometimes reach out to me and say, I am someone that's attracting a lot of feminine men. I want to attract more masculine men. Why am I attracting this? Or men that say, oh, I want to attract someone that's very feminine, or vice versa. We don't have to get too caught up with the whole gender rules here. It can work the same way for same-sex relationships because there's still polarity in same-sex relationships, or whatever your cup of tea is. But in general, think of this in the form of masculine and feminine, in the form of energy dynamics, not so much just gender. But when we think of feminine, feminine is more flowy. Feminine is a little bit more, it's more emotional. It is sometimes a little bit more chaotic because it's not following a specific structure. The feminine needs to feel safe to really express itself. On the other hand, we have that of the masculine. The masculine is very directive. It leads. It thinks more in the sense of logic, and it has a more penetrative type energy, whereas the feminine is more flowy. Now, the masculine needs to feel that of appreciated, acknowledged, whereas the feminine needs to feel safe. So these are like 2 different aspects of that, and we all have both masculine and feminine energy. Now, when I was going through my own initiation process, I guess you could say, about a year ago, I started going through an initiation process where I was letting go of a lot of the old patterns of myself. And one of the things that really was something that was a block to me being in my own masculine frame was I had this people pleaser mentality and this kind of nice guy mentality that I got from my dad. My dad is a traditional nice guy. And what would happen is I would try, or my intention was to attract love, but I was repelling it because of my own energy. And what I had to learn is, especially for the masculine, it's important to lead. The masculine, it's important to be in your own frame. And for me, what that meant is I had to become aware of the inauthenticity of the people pleaser dynamic and that of the nice guy dynamic, which is something that a lot of people deal with because people are searching for other people's validation. So this meant for me, what I had to do is I had to confront my childhood abandonment wound. If you are afraid of getting rejected by other people, you're not going to be the full sense inside your own polarity because you're afraid of what other people will think about you. So the first polarity key and secret to this is understanding integrity. Integrity is you being consistent to your word and you being the most authentic you. And in order for you to do that, what I found is that I had to confront my abandonment wound where I felt emotionally abandoned as a kid. And because of that, I thought there was something wrong with me. I thought that I had to be different than I was in order for me to gain people's love, respect, and approval. And therefore, I would change my sense of gravity when I was around women. I would try to fix them. I would try to make them feel better by changing them versus holding the masculine frame. Being centered, leading. It's almost like it was like I was trying to fix someone's emotions to help them feel better, when all they needed me to do was to hold space and to be centered in myself. That's it. I would listen, understand and like, seek to understand, and then just be firm, and then I can relax now, instead of me trying to like juggle things around. But that fix-it mentality, that comes from a belief that I'm not worthy, and that if I fix them, then I can get them to love me. This gets down to the childhood wounding, and when I changed that, so much in my life began to change. I had to confront this a lot over the last year, actually. With what I had to do is I had to focus on really being the most version of myself that's in integrity, and having hard conversations, going into tension. There are times that tension creates that of polarity, most of the time. I have friends that I used to have a certain dynamic with, and I had to change that dynamic because I realized that I was abandoning myself to make others happy. That's what a lot of times they do with the people pleaser, nice guy dynamic. It could be for both men and women, by the way, masculine or feminine. But what we do is we abandon ourselves to make others happy. And the key to this is to stop abandoning the self and to start being in integrity with your word. One thing I'm very strong on is I stay consistent to what I say I'm going to do. That's one thing I do. It is like a trigger for me if somebody says they're going to do something and they don't do it. It's my own childhood wounding. I got to figure this out. If I can fix them and get them to be in integrity to the word, maybe then I'm worthy. But a lot of this is me becoming aware of that abandonment wound and changing that. So one of the best things you can do for your own sense of polarity is understand integrity with yourself. Whether you're masculine or feminine, doesn't matter. But being in integrity with yourself and letting go of layers of inauthenticity. Realize that when you let go of caring what other people think and you start being the real you, what'll happen is there will be people that won't like you as much because you're being the real you, but there'll be even more people that like you because you are actually being authentic. Sometimes people may see me and they may not like exactly what I'm saying. It might trigger them, but they're like, you know what? At least he believes in what he's saying. At least he's being authentic. So that's something to think about. It's good actually as well. Polarity is good because you're putting the dating process and making it easier for you. Instead of going through a whole bunch of layers of BS for like months and months and months, you're like, this is the real me. Being polarizing is good. Even in branding, when I look at other brands, there's a reason that there's brands that intentionally polarize that of their audience, because it gives more, you understand the values that they stand for. So don't be afraid to be that version of you. Now, the second thing that is a vulnerability, I almost said it. The second thing that is a polarity secret is something that has completely transformed my own life, and that's understanding the power of vulnerability. Now, think about it. Two people are starting to date, and one is maybe afraid to say, hey, I'm attracted to you, or I want to leading. Or maybe it's like friends that have been together a while, or like friends for a while, but one is afraid to say that they have feelings for the other. That happens also kind of connected to the people pleaser, nice guy abandonment thing, but vulnerability, showing who you really are, putting yourself out there for both the masculine or feminine is something that is very attractive, and it does create polarity. It is expressing the real you. And when you put yourself out there too, quote unquote, where you could get rejected, you'll find a lot of times you either don't, or once again, you saved yourself time, because then you're not going through a whole bunch of BS of like waiting around. But for me, the most vulnerable conversations I've had, or when I've expressed things that like I kind of bottled up, because when I was a kid, if I would express how I really felt, it either was discounted completely, like doesn't matter, or I got shamed for it. So then I'll be in a relationship and I'll be afraid to share what I really think, and I'm holding it back, and then the feminine can feel that. Feels like I'm deceiving, or I'm not putting everything on the table, or I'm not being authentic, and then it becomes a thing. So the thing that I've learned is the more vulnerable I am in my relationships, and this means having those hard conversations sometimes. I've had over this last month, I've had some conversations with some of my best friends where I've said, you know what, this, and this is something that I didn't voice back in the day, and this is how I really feel. And it felt so empowering. I literally felt like I was taking back some of my energy cords. And in a way, that's what I think was in a way happening, is I was reestablishing a new level of me. And guess what? I get more respect now because of it, because I respect myself. So polarity, remember, is when you're being in your own authentic frame. And one of the things that you must do to really create the sense of polarity is healing those childhood wounds around worthiness, around abandonment, around trusting the universe, whether you can trust or not. Sometimes if you had a parent that cheated on the other, what you do is you may say, this isn't safe. You may activate your masculine or feminine side in order to be as kind of like a buffer. And one of the best ways you can do that, if you haven't already, we've had over 4,000 people go through this, is the 21-day Magnetic Love Challenge, which is step-by-step how to create within yourself a level of self-love that you emanate out, so that in 21 days you're a new, higher vibrational, loving version of yourself. So if you want to attract love or deepen your relationship, go to aarondoughty.com/love or click the link below. But that's where we go through a process where you're held accountable for letting go and removing blocks. It is completely transformative. It's 21 days in a row, an hour-long workshop a day. You watch one a day. You have lifetime access when you get it, but you can click below if you want to check that out. But those are the two most important things, is like healing your childhood wounding, your abandonment wound, and understanding vulnerability and how vulnerability is the cure to shame. If you feel like you're broken, then what happens, that's what shame is. Shame says there's something wrong with me. Then what happens is you're afraid to actually be and express the real you, because you're going to get rejected. And the thing for me was when I started to express this stuff, I started to realize there's nothing, I'm not broken. And it also leads me to the third one, which is creating boundaries. Now, especially for the masculine, I found this to be very powerful, where the feminine will ask me something, and a part of that is helping the feminine feel safe by creating a container in the masculine frame, in the masculine energy. And for me, that means sometimes I set boundaries. I'm like, no, this is not what we're gonna do, or this is what we're gonna do. Not in a narcissistic way, like I'm telling you what to do, but leading. No, this is what we need to go do right now, or, it's very powerful, but it's changed everything. A lot of me, because of the nice guy people pleaser thing, was afraid to lead back in the day. And now that I'm not afraid of it, it feels natural. You may think and you may tell yourself a story that, oh, I've always been more feminine or masculine and I want to be the other, or something like that. That's just a story. It's a pattern that is a survival mechanism that's been on autopilot. That's it. But the third key to creating polarity is sense of boundaries. Saying no. Saying no, when you say no to something, you're saying yes to something else. And what saying no does, by the way, is it communicates value. I remember when I've had times where friends want me to go do things and I have trouble saying no. And what ends up happening is by saying no and abandoning myself, it's communicating that I feel obligated. I feel like I have to do that. By saying no, what I end up doing is communicating that I'm not going to abandon myself. And the thing with this as well is saying no when it's authentic for you to say no. When you really have something else to do, or you really feel like you have to give up your own sense of self to like make others happy. You realize the motivation behind what you're doing. But even when I was becoming more successful back in the day, I had to start saying no to hanging out with friends and doing certain things when I was like starting to say yes to me making daily videos on YouTube. And that would create some polarity, but guess what? That's good. And I noticed that even like the more you share your own personality unapologetically, the more you're gonna create polarity, because that's the real you. So this is about understanding that boundaries is like your safe container that you're creating that changes everything. Now, the fourth thing for creating polarity that also changes everything is understanding and identifying your own energy within the context of your day. Now, for example, if you find that maybe you're a woman that is feeling like you have to activate a lot of your masculine energy so that you can go to your job, so that you grow your business or whatever it is. At the end of your day, when you're coming home, it is very good for you to balance that out with like a bath, going for a walk, being in nature, doing something that's more yin. And what you'll find is that when you do that, you create and you allow yourself to more so sink into your feminine. So for me in my own daily activities, what I've realized is that we both have masculine and feminine energies, but it's really about getting inside and being aware of your own energy to activate it and set that intention to activate it. For me, if I want to activate masculine energy, I go work out. I'll go play sports. I'll go do something that helps me to activate that penetrative, focused mentality that is natural for me, but that's the key. And sometimes I do need to soften that up though, because I become too rigid, especially with my diet and stuff. I'll be counting calories and doing all this structured analytical things. It's like, wait, what if I could just let go, be in nature, go on the boat here in Austin or something like that? It changes everything when you start to realize your own energy and that you can activate it with intention. You can activate it with phases of your day even. And that's something that changes a lot because what you do every single day compounds over time. So just being aware of your own polarity is something that's very powerful because as you become aware of it, that's when you can then change it. And the fifth and final, probably the most powerful way for you to create polarity within yourself is understanding being in your own body. This is something that I call the frame technique. The frame technique is one of the most powerful energy exercises I've ever done. It's where you get inside of your own body and you feel the separation between you and a candle, you and the walls, you and other people, and you feeling the separation will help you feel safe in your body. When you start to feel safe in your body as the feminine, you're gonna feel more feminine and flowy. When you start feeling safe in your body as the masculine, you're naturally gonna start leading. These are things that changed everything for me. When I started to do this, I thought it was too simple. I thought there's no way that this is gonna be something that really transforms my life, but guess what, it did. So one thing you could do is if you get the 21-day Magnetic Love Challenge, we teach the frame technique in there and it shows you step-by-step how to completely transform your life. So like this video if you liked it. If you want more short videos that are kind of to the point, even though this probably wasn't a short video, go ahead and like and comment below. And other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, much love, and namaste.